Hey, what you doing? It's time for another episode of Freedom of Speech on the dime with your girl Pleasure Time, and it's starting right now. Ooh, you gotta say that. Do you hear what I'm saying? Hello, somebody. Let's talk about it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your first episode of Freedom of Speech. We're here live in the studio. I am joined by two of my favorite ladies. Please welcome Trauma and Shelly will be here live in the studio today. We're going to have a little briefing. Our topic for today is going to be relationships. Now, we know that there are a lot of people out there talking about relationships. Everyone is trying to give their opinion on what you should be doing, how you should be doing it, and we just want to talk about different things that you should be looking for in relationships, different things that end up turning a relationships, or different signs and things that you should be looking out for as warning signs. We're going to start out with communication. Communication typically is one of the number one things that you'd say destroys most relationships. Now, when we say relationships, we're not just talking about girlfriend and boyfriend, husband and wife, wife, husband, however you're mingled out there. We're talking about relationships in general, your friends as well. You will see that some of the characteristics that people can develop can actually tank your friendships. Some different characteristics that your friends or associates may have, you may not see eye to eye and a lot of things. So we're gonna bring in our guests today to see what they have to say in regards to the conversation. Trauma, Shelly, you guys have any insight about communication when it comes to relationships, whether it be friendship or boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, and wife, but just in general, the communication part about it? Any experiences or anything you want to add to it?
Hey, girl. Hey, y'all. I feel like communication is the number one key to a successful relationship, because if you don't have communication, then you don't have trust, you don't have anything, because you should be able to communicate in and everything to your partner. True. And that be whether it be your mate or a friend. If you're in my life, I should be able to come to you with anything, tell you anything. Mm-hmm. There should be no, I'm afraid to ask for this or tell you about that. Communication should always be a key thing in any relationship you're in.
I feel you on that. All right, Trauma and Shelly, do you have anything to add to that?
I kind of agree with Trauma on that too. I guess like follow-up question would be, what type of communication though?
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, like I feel like, like we said, like for different type of relationships, because I feel like for significant others, I feel like communication should definitely be open from all aspects. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's via text message, email, social media, or in person. And even the same with friendships, but modifying that a little bit. Because, prime example, like, with us not being from here, we got a lot of close friends back home. And it's like, okay, well, I can't call you every day because we got life. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. And I can't even text you every day because I got life too. But I can check up on you via social media. Like, if you see something funny, like, I'll send that to you real quick. Or if I see you posting something, I'll like it to let you know, like, hey, I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? So that could also affect it too, to where communication, I feel like communication can change a little bit depending on the circumstances, but nonetheless, communication is still key. Because, for example, like some of my closest friends, like ones I consider best friends, I probably ain't talked to one of them in like 3 months via on the phone. But I know if I was calling her right now, I'm like, what up, girl? She'd be like, hey, girl, like ain't nothing, like ain't no time has passed. So communication is definitely important, but I feel like depending on who the person is can modify the communication style. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to significant others, it needs to be, to me, I feel it needs to be something that needs to be talked about up front. Like, how do you prefer to communicate? Because I know for me, like, the whole getting to know you type stage, do we really have to talk on the phone all day long? Because I can't.
I mean, and that's...
And I've ran into that too. And I've also, with doing my healing process and everything and hearing other guys' prospects on everything, they feel like, how can you truly get to know somebody through text? Because, everybody likes to text these days. Through a text message, I can't hear your voice. I can't, or like through text, at least over the phone and in person, I can get an idea of your reaction and stuff. But through text, you can text anything and not mean a damn thing about it.
True.
So it's like,
I mean, that's true.
When you're getting to know someone, you need that voice, that in person, that eye contact, that viewing gestures, all that. I feel like that's very important.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm currently dealing with now. I have this guy and he doesn't like to talk on the phone, but he's willing to compromise. But at the same time, it's like, there are certain questions that you need to ask because there may be a couple texting may work for them. But I personally feel like when you're in the beginning stages getting to know somebody, texting can also be a downfall because y'all don't know each other and texts can be taken out of context.
True.
So that's another reason why when in the beginning getting to know each other is very important to have that voiceover or that in-person contact.
Yeah, I feel like to kind of piggyback on that, I can feel that too. I feel like if we're in the talking to get to know each other stage, I can see, like, I really like talking on the phone, not for real. But if I'm getting to know you, then okay, it can be modified. But if we're in the talking stage getting to know each other and we're both busy, then I kind of feel like, okay, well, let me just send you a quick message like, hey, here's a quick text message. You on my mind, I'm thinking about this. Or if I can ask you this question, we can piggyback on it later on tonight. Or for me, like, I feel like nowadays, if I'm somebody you want to get to know, if we in the stage where you want to eventually be in a relationship with me,
right,
then I feel like that form of communication completely changed in general. Yeah, we can talk on the phone and everything else, but I need your time.
Right,
because
yeah.
Me talking to you on the phone, okay, that don't mean nothing to me. Okay, I can talk to you on the phone all day long so I'm blue in the face. But if you want to get to know me and be with me, we need to change that phone call to in person.
Yeah, that's why there's levels to it.
Yeah.
Like I've heard this guy that I do listen to on YouTube, he's actually married and he actually met his wife online. They started sending messages back and forth. He tried to get the number. She wasn't ready. So 2 more weeks is still messaging each other. Mm-hmm. They upgraded to phone calls. From the phone calls, then they started dating. Like, they took their time and eventually. Right. But everybody's in such a rush to see each other. Such a rush to fuck. Such a rush to, instead of taking the time to let it gradually. Because what they say, anything that you get quick, you'll lose quick.
Sure.
So.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
Okay. And I'm with you with that. And as far as the lines of communication goes, there are different forms of communication. Like you guys said, everyone does not communicate on the same levels, but you do have to you do have to find ways, like you said, to compromise, to kind of see where you two can meet eye to eye or meet at a level and and be able to go from there. But there are times that will arise where a lot of things arise out of miscommunication because you have people who don't actually know how to express how they feel and don't know how to go about it. I do give different clients different ways of coping. As far as most people think as coping, where something must have happened or something tragic must have happened, where coping skills can also help you bring out your emotions as far as the things that you're feeling. So coping skills are not just for bad times. They also help you, to express your feelings to someone as well. Because being in a place that makes you happy, if something that's, making you sad, that's the last thing you want on your mind at that time. So you're going to constantly try to find a way, especially if you're not surrounded by negative things, to get you back where you need to be. So I mean, people try. I told people you can try. If the texting doesn't work and you're one of those people because your other person may take your other significant other or whoever you're talking to may take stuff out of context. Like we said, granted, text messages have no voice unless you're literally sending a voice message. It has no voice yet. If you've had a physical conversation with that person, most people tend to perceive messages the way that they hear that person's voice.
Right.
So, whether it be they're laughing, they're joking, they're mad, or you think that they're mad or something, you can, in your mind, even though you can't hear it physically, you can hear their voices changing depending on what is coming through that screen or that text messages. So, granted, like we said, text messages have no voice. It is always good to have that initial communication to at least be able to hear each other's voices. Or if you can't find a text message, maybe writing a letter. Most people frown upon letters. Some artists old school. But what do you think a text message is other than a short letter?
Right.
A letter. You just decided to sum it up. Okay, instead of reading the whole chapter, you gave me the summary. Okay. Right. So maybe because that person is not understanding your short version of it, maybe you do need to break it down into a chapter, break down each topic, one by one verbatim. But like I said, communication is different, learning is different. So of course communication is going to be different, but a major part in a relationship though, so it is going to be very crucial to your relationship, any friendship, anything, to actually have some form of communication. Even if you're like just sending a text message to check up on people. My biggest thing with communication when it comes to people is when they choose to communicate. That's the biggest thing. A lot of people tend to wait too long. They'll wait until they get ready to explode instead of saying something about something when it first irks your nerves the first. Okay, so if it irks your nerves the first time, okay. Some people say something, but it may not be a pattern with that person. Right. If that person does that thing again that irks your nerves and you don't say nothing and you wait around to the third time, I'm going to tell you now, it's probably not going to change. Because you see that's the way that person is. Now, as a friend or however you value that relationship, you can say something to that person. As a friend, if you do feel that you are a friend of someone, or even have an ounce or shred of humanity in you, you know what I'm saying, and you want to tell someone else how you feel, as long as you're not trying to tear that person apart in giving your side of how you feel, then it's totally okay to tell someone that what they're doing is annoying you or getting on your nerves, or you wish they would do better, or you see them as better. It's a way to do all of that, because it's not always what you say, but it's also how you say it. So, and a lot of people say that doesn't make any sense, and I've had to use so many examples about, it's not what you say, it's not always what you say, but how you say it. Somebody could be in the room, and I always use this example, people always laugh. I was like, say you was in a room with someone, and you was trying to tell them, hey, you stink. You know what I'm saying? No. In all honesty. Now, we all had that person, or we all had that friend or family member. We were like, you know what, So, but you're not going to just walk up to them in a room crowded full of folks and just be like, yo, B, you stank. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna do no. That's for one, is rude, is disrespectful. Right, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And another thing is, you don't know the reason as to why that person may not know themselves. True. So there's a lot of scenarios that could really go the wrong way depending on how something is said. You know what I'm saying? So it's really going to, watch what you say, watch how you say it. If you really mean no harm, then really mean no harm. But we know when someone be like, I don't mean no harm, but yeah. Okay, we all know. Okay, so this is coming off with a little bit of shade already, and we already know that. You know what I'm saying? So that just watch what you say. Communication is key. If you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. I say you ain't got to say it, but you can write it. So technically you're still saying it, but find a way to communicate with people in general, and sit down to talk to people and to actually get to know them. Stop always trying to figure out what somebody can do for you, and see where y'all can come together and build something together, whether it's a friendship or a family or a household, whichever one you're choosing. So we're going to go ahead on to the next topic, because of course, like I said, communication is big, so we can clearly talk about communication and the lack thereof for moments and minutes and hours to come. So we are going to go to the next topic that is very key when it comes to friendships and relationships. And ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about those red flags. Oh, so let's talk about some of the red flags that we get, that, we notice, we ignore, and then are mad at the consequences afterwards. Yeah. So ladies, what you got for me? Who wants to be first? Go
ahead, girl.
So I like to be up front. And I've learned the red flags, it's like, okay, so what is we doing? What are you looking for? Why did you approach me? Are you looking for a friend? Are you looking for a fuck buddy? Friends with benefits? Because there is a difference. Yeah. Because if we just fucking, that means I'll pull up, you pull up, we do what we do, and we get the hell out. Like, for real. Like, there needs to be no, can you stay tonight for what? Like, no. And then there's friends with benefits where, y'all actually have a friendship, y'all fuck with each other and all that, but y'all do what y'all do from time to time. Right. So there is a difference where you have a genuine friend, like you're working to build a friendship. Because I know it takes time to get to know somebody you may not know, but niggas be knowing, like, yeah, I'm about to make that mine. And niggas also know, yeah, I'm about to try and hit that. Like, niggas be knowing when they approach you already what they got in mind. They already have a plan for you when they approach you.
But the funny part is that one about the ones who be like, they just want to hit, them be the main ones get stuck. Bang was when you just supposed to hit it and quit it in just one night. With what Usher said, felt so good damn me. Double back twice.
This is true.
So, but yeah, I just wanted to make that little mention right there. But yeah, back to the red flags and stuff. So, people just want to chill, want to meet so quickly. So we know about that part.
Yeah, come over and chill. That's definitely a red flag, especially if you talking about you want to get to know me and you like me and stuff. And dudes they automatically think money when we say we want to be taken out. One of my dream dates is going out to Tempe Town Lake at night where you could look over the lights. You could sit out there and talk and really get to know each other. Sometimes they have trucks out there where you can get some ice cream. So you're looking at
quality time to more one-on-one time versus out in public sociably with other folks.
Yeah, I see that.
So you just that's what you mean. You want that intimate one-on-one time. So
I want all of it. I'm not spending no money. I'm just saying, dudes automatically think spending money. No, be freaking creative. Like what happened to a picnic at the park, or like say we don't have to know all you have is food stamps at the moment. You can go and buy some food with. And go to, it's the thought that counts. Then later on, babe, remember our first day when I took you, I actually used food stamps.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want y'all to think for one moment that we are talking about people who have food stamps. We don't all spend food stamps, okay? We don't all spend food stamps, okay? Plenty of them. Would like to meet, so if y'all got some food stamps out there y'all want to sell, y'all holler at a girl. I'm just saying. We'll get y'all Instagram out there. Nah, I don't blame with y'all. But yeah, so I get what you mean about to be creative. Yeah, because I mean, I've had that. I've had where I've just went out to the park and we just sat out in the park and chilled and talked. I'm a nature person anyway. I'm a country bumpkin, so outside the scenery, that's totally fine. I mean, here with this heat in Phoenix, that's gonna be more of a winter fall type, spring type thing for us. Unless y'all got some Arizona rooms with some beautiful sceneries behind it that's air conditioned. Other than that, I'm gonna tell you, this plan with the picnic ain't gonna work in Phoenix in the summertime. I don't know where y'all at and what y'all experience with the heat, but 120, I ain't doing no picnic. Okay. Trying to be in my knickerbockers. Okay, that's it. It's hot, but definitely. So, red flags, trying to chill too quick.
Yes, exactly. I had to do this literally like we talked we sent a message. I want to say we probably exchanged 4 messages total. And he was like, so can I come over?
Whoa. Right. Okay, Jason.
Wait, I was like, wait, what? I had to read the message twice. I'm like, wait, did you really just ask to come to my house?
Right.
Sir, I've known you for all of 6 hours. No, you're not coming to my house.
Even in that long way, he might have been counting in dog years. We never know. 6 hours, what's that, about a half, like 3 days in dogs?
I was like, no, he was like, so can I come over? No, I'm good. Like, no. Yeah, no. Like, them type of dudes, like, when you trying to kick it too quick, I already know what you, one thing only. So, I'm good. On to the next.
Okay.
I feel that.
So coming over too quick, automatically thinking that you got to spend money, not being creative. My biggest thing is the 1 and 2 word comments.
Oh, yes.
When you ask a question that requires detailed, or you're asking detailed information,
right.
Then you 1 word respond instead of responding. I figured if you ask me what's my favorite color and I tell you black, you shouldn't necessarily have to say me replying with another question, black, what's yours? It clearly means you was trying to start a conversation. So if I just respond back black, 2 things. I'm either expecting you to respond back, well, mine's blue.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or respond with another question.
Yeah, thank you. Or with another question.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure, like, how you were going about it.
Right.
But, I mean, if you ask the question, right now, you have the floor. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So even though we're not in person with this conversation, right now, you have the floor. You have my attention because you asked a question and I've answered it. Now, I could have stolen the floor and gave you to respond with a follow-up question, but the reason why it's blanked, fellas, is because we want to see if you can continue a conversation.
Period.
You know what I'm saying? Stop asking me what I got on. What you got on? Is they even fresh? Are you looking like yesterday? Okay? Are you smelling like last week? These are questions that I need to know the answer. You know? But do you get up in the morning and wash your face and brush your teeth? You know what I'm saying? Or do you go to the bathroom? Do you wash your hands after you go to the bathroom?
Yes, that is amazing.
Please don't think that your penis is clean.
I've definitely ran into one of them.
Even still, like, you don't have to do the whole basic type of questions. Because I guess the guy I'm talking to or whatever, he definitely slid in my DMs differently. Because, like, yes, we've been online. On my profile, it asks, like, conversation starters. And I'm a big music fan. Like, I love music. And so, I love music and movies. Like, my top 2 favorite things. He actually slid in my DMs and was like, top movies of all time. He lists, like, 5 of them. I was like, okay,
I like that.
I was like, that's
2
different.
points for
And
him,
I was like,
even if he turns out to be a lame.
Yeah,
started out great.
Right. I was like, not even necessarily top 5 movies, like top 5. I was like favorite movies in general, and he listed some classics. I was like, yep. Like I said yes, like 4 of them. Because he was like, the whole Friday collection. Yep,
I'm with
that.
you.
I can watch that anytime, anywhere.
Shout out to
I think he said Life.
Rest in peace, D.
Right. I was like, I think he said Life. That's a good classic. I can watch over and over again. What else he said? I think he said like some old classic black movies. I was like, yes, I can watch any of them. Anytime it's on, I'm gonna watch it. Even though I know every word of it. I was like, yeah. I think Harlem Nights. He might have said one movie I probably never really watched. But it was like, I don't know. It was just something I just wasn't really interested in. But yeah, I didn't really watch that. But everything else, I was like, yeah, that's really how our conversation started. We talked about movies. Like, we talked about just something else. And then we went from movies and ended up talking about something else. And then, like, my whole thing, like, I understand, like, this whole online dating thing. Like, I know that can be a whole different subject for a whole different day. We're going to get into that. Like, but the whole online dating thing or whatever, I was like, yes, that's, like, kind of the new thing. Because me, personally, I'm not a big going out type fan. Like, I'm a homebody. So, we got different ways of meeting people or whatever. So, for me, like, even being on online dating, I'm not even on them apps like that. Like, if they're on my phone or wherever. But
and they're annoying, too.
That, too. But I'm not checking them every day. I'm not on it every day. Because it's like, no. So it's like, okay, cool. So for the fact that he and I were able to have like a decent conversation to where I was like, oh, let me go check my messages to see if he responded, kind of like that helped too. So that was like kind of going back to communication that helps. Right. But we're also like addressing to like the red flag of everything else, because my whole thing now too is if you're going to say you one thing, my red flag, if you're going to say you do something or say you are something, don't be different.
That's right. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Because people switch up on like online and even in person.
Yeah.
That switch up game can be real. For me, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
So that's like that's my red flag mode. Like that switch up. Yeah. And you don't. And I know me personally, I've been stupid enough where I caught the red flag, ignored it.
Yeah, we've all been there.
For like a significant other and for friendships.
Yeah.
And both of them came back to bite me in the butt.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell y'all, I don't got much butt if y'all ever seen me. So I don't need nothing biting it, okay? I'm trying to get whatever butt I can get, okay? I don't need nothing biting. I'm trying to pump this up, you know? Trying to get it pumped up.
But that's definitely a red flag for me. Like the switch up. The switch up can be real. And it's like if you don't catch that switch up, and that to me, I don't know how do looking back on it, okay, like kind of just being real, looking back on it, and you realize that was a red flag that you didn't catch. How does that shit make you feel now?
Oh, it's pissed. It makes you pissed off. It's pissed off because here's why you're pissed off. For one, you caught it back then.
Facts.
You caught it the first time it happened.
Facts.
You let it go because we was in the fucking moment.
Facts.
Yeah.
You were in the moment.
Facts.
And you was like, okay, this one little thing, I ain't gonna be the one, because it's always us. I ain't gonna be the one to say nothing first, to start nothing, and it be like, oh, it's always you.
Right. And because it mostly, to me personally, I feel like it does mostly start with like significant other type relationships. But looking back on the red flag I had in like a friendship, it was like, what the hell? It did piss me off. But it wasn't necessarily the fact. I'm pissed off about it now because I'm more pissed off at myself for not catching it. But emotionally, it makes me sad because it's like, wow. I was like, because I knew like I said, go back to that switch up.
Yeah,
I'm not a switch up type person. That's just my personality. And a lot of people can say, oh, I'm not a switch up type person, but it's like, come on, bro. Like, really look back on yourself.
Well,
are you or are you not?
They probably don't see themselves as switch ups because they won't accept the fact that they're two-faced. So it's not so much that they're a switch up. They don't want to acknowledge they're a switch up. They don't want to acknowledge that they're two-faced. So you'll have that too. So, I mean, because I've had plenty of people in my life, like just in general say, oh, you shouldn't do that, you should do that, you should do that, and then you run into them again a couple of years later and they doing the same thing that they told you not to do, and it was like, oh, so it wasn't cool for me to do it because you were so looking out for me, but it was okay for you, like you not my parents, so like why did you take on that burden? No one gave it to you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying give it back because you wanted it clearly, so go on wear it. But at the same time, it just makes no sense.
Well,
It was like that with a family member. We didn't grow up like this. Why is you with a guy like that? And they're with a guy like that.
Yeah, so
Or it's okay for me to be with a guy like that so you can benefit off of him from something.
So I mean that's still another red flag too, taking advice from people who are not in healthy relationships
or even taking your own advice.
Yeah. That part too. Or not even in a place that is above where you are. Now, I'm not saying that you can't get information or advice from someone whose status may be below yours. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is those people is toxic trying to give out healthy and positive information is what I'm saying. That's what I mean by that. I don't feel that, people should be involved with people just because it's making someone else happy, but it's not making you happy. I don't feel that people should stay in a relationship just because they got kids, because that's toxic as well, and your kids are feeding off that energy, and then you wondering why you ain't got no peace in your house and your kids running amok. It's because they're feeding off of your energy. Y'all can't stand each other. Y'all at each other's throats all the time, and when you're not arguing with each other, you two can't be in the same space. So you trying to portray to the public like you this big fat happy family, but at the same time you broken in shambles and your kids running amok and you're mad about it.
Right.
But you want to constantly try to see what's going on in other people's lives because you're sitting there trying to compare yourself to somebody else instead of worried about your own happiness. Mm-hmm. I'm not concerned what's going on in nobody else's house.
That makes sense.
That don't make no sense for you to be sitting there worrying about what Sarah and John is doing over there and why they fucking the neighbors and that's none of your business, and why Sarah had the milkman last week, why John is messing with the Amazon dude. Like I don't know. I don't care. People need to know when to mind their business and when to intervene. And that's definitely a topic for another day. So another red flag before we leave this topic I did want to touch on was lying about their location. And not just necessarily their city and state, but where they're actually residing. Let me tell you something, fellas. There's a difference between a hoe and a woman. Okay? Most women, we don't want something that belongs to somebody else. A hoe don't care. Okay?
Yeah, hold on.
She don't give no shit. She just looking for the fuck. Now, granted, some of us are just looking for the fuck. We still got class about this. Right? Okay? And if we did cross something that belongs to, please believe, woman, we didn't want them. It was just we Kelly priced them. It was just as we laid. It was just one night. Okay? Well, that's all that. It probably wasn't even the night. It was probably just the moment. If it lasted even the hour. I meant the whole hour, and I don't mean like that's the time it took me to get there, bust a nut, take a shower, come back home. That's probably a routine, but So it was just a quickie. You still got them longer than I had them, and you can keep them. Mm-hmm. I'm just letting you know. Okay. So, all of us ain't the same. Everyone ain't trying to steal your man. Trust me, most of y'all don't even want him. Some of y'all trying to give him away. They're just mad that he won't leave. What he leaving for when you doing everything for him? Yeah. That's dumb. Well, so you thought by just denying the coup it was going to make him leave. Now he'll go out there and get that. He was already doing that. So you just go out and get that. You doing everything else. So who the fool? But you mad at her. No, don't be mad at her. Be mad at you. You the babysitter. So, another red flag, lying about your location, where you at. We know y'all staying with your girlfriends, because you ain't got nowhere to go. You can't host. So you staying with somebody, it ain't y'all done with the auntie one, because y'all know we know about the auntie, we staying with my auntie, but we can't meet your auntie. Your auntie love us. I ain't met an auntie yet who ain't love me. Shit. So you with your auntie, your grandma. I ain't met one yet that ain't love me.
Facts.
And y'all met an auntie or grandma that didn't love y'all, a family member that stand with. It's just the ones that we can't meet because they ain't never there when we go there, or we can't go there because that's who house that really is.
This is true. And you say how the mamas work. I had a boyfriend. We was together for maybe a month back in high school now, okay? High school. My senior year of high school. Okay? Mind you, I done graduated. I think I'm gonna graduate college or something else, or halfway through college or something. I saw this lady. I saw my ex's mama at the grocery store. Mind you, this was my senior year of high school. I was probably a sophomore, junior in college.
Okay.
So that's a
3-4 years later.
If that. Yeah. My body's been even longer. I saw her in the grocery store. She looked at me twice to make sure she was, Michelle, yes ma'am. You remember me? I looked at her and was like, yes ma'am. She's like, I'm so-so's mama. Oh yeah. She's like, hey baby, how you doing? I mean, I got a hug. How you doing? How your mama doing? I had a whole life checkup. She was like, you still did the prettiest thing ever. And I'm like, okay. And mind you, how long ago that was?
Right.
I might even been already graduated college.
Sure, that don't make no difference.
And this was back in high school, okay?
That don't make no difference.
So I'm telling you, the mamas and aunties and grandmas be loving us. So when you got a good one that they like, you better hold on to them.
Right. Because even after we leave,
they still ask.
We still the one that got away.
They still ask.
Wink, wink. You know who y'all is out there.
Right. Well, that's a whole other time for all the day right there.
Sorry about that palm tree. I'm sorry about that palm tree.
It's bad when she still asks about us after the fact.
Right.
Yeah,
I got some that's married and mamas will still ask, say they don't care, do not like the current wife. I even them like, man, that ain't nice. Nah, don't be asking about me in front of that man's wife. That's just rude. But hey, some of them don't care, and they'll let you know they don't care. So I mean, y'all ladies who got them rude baby mamas, y'all need to sit down and try to make peace with your mother-in-law. It's gonna take some time, right? But it'll come if the two of y'all want it to come. It can only be if the two of y'all are willing to sit down and actually be adults, mature adults. That's the only way that's gonna happen. But so yeah, another red flag, ladies and gentlemen, definitely the location. So you ain't got to be lying about it, because like we told you, it's a difference between a hoe and a woman. You gonna know which one you got based off the comment. You tell her that you meeting her, at a hotel, or you meeting her at the truck. I had somebody was like, I got a truck, it got a lot of space. Boy, I laughed so hard. I didn't think say you got a truck. I like trucks to drive.
Right.
What he was thinking. Someone he married. Then what you on here for? Someone, well, you married. I mean, that's true. But who says I wasn't sharing with mine?
Right.
You can't bring yours though. You see what I'm saying? You can. Well, I never told you I wasn't no swinger. You don't know what's going on over here.
Right.
I met a couple online that was looking for somebody. They had me so tickled. I was like, y'all looking for what? Like, that's not what I'm on here for. Like, so many of those little sites that are the same, you see that too. Folks, some they own fucking networks looking for relationships. You're not on no fucking network looking for the site, it says is fling. Do you know what a fling is? A fling means that's somebody that you just fucking around with. The flames is hot just for them, and then somebody gonna put the water out on that shit. Okay? And they gonna last long. That's what's a fling. It's like smoking a cigarette. When it get down to the filter, you flick that bitch. That's what happens with those type of relationships. I just, want to keep y'all in the loop.
All right.
So, red flags. So we're going to move on, and our last topic for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be forgiveness. Now, I know that's a touchy subject. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask y'all a question first. How many of y'all out there that went into the next relationship making that person pay for the relationship that you just went through? You're wrong.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
Crickets.
You should have left that at the door. You know what happens to your relationship when you do that? For one, we go in relationships wrong. We go into relationships talking about all the shit we don't want. That's negativity. We already spoke, so the devil already know how to attack you in this one. He gonna get you. What you do is you go in, you speaking positive. I said the next man that if I ever ended up with a man, we're gonna keep it like that first. It gonna have to be about his business. For one, he gonna have to be a Christian. He gonna have to love God as well as himself. Be respected. Be respectable and be respected. There's a difference. So, you need to be established. You need to have something. For one, I'm done with the pick-me-uppers. I'm sorry. I ain't got no kid. I'm done with all the pick-me-uppers. I'm not taking resumes. So that's one thing. What we need to realize with the forgiveness is that when you forgive someone, you also got to forgive yourself. Because we be holding on to stuff that we need to let go. We really do. Y'all be making y'allself look old. Y'all be giving yourself diseases and sickness and illness.
I mean, that's not
that
funny.
you don't
But
even have to even endure, but you sitting around here hating somebody, mildewing about somebody who done went on about their life, ain't thinking nothing about you. But hold that thought. For the ones who are thinking about you, sitting around trying to find ways to continue to make your life miserable, because we do have those out there too. That karma just gonna backfire on them. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about them at all. Trauma, Shelly, what do y'all have to say in regards to forgiveness? Have either of you been in a situation where you thought that it was impossible? You would never forgive someone, or you could never forgive them if they did this?
No, that hasn't happened.
Kind of going through it now. To where I had to. It's kind of like a 2-step process for me. The first one was 3 steps, because like you said. The first step was I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive myself for being stupid. So that was that. The second step I had was I had the F it mentality. Like F it and F you. And that was controlling me more than I thought it was. Because mentally I was like, I don't care. But
you did.
I did.
Yeah.
And because it was just times where I could like not be doing nothing or was doing something and it literally popped in my head and I would just get mad or feel some type of way all over again. I'm like, no. And so now I'm in the process of, I still got that F it mode. But I'm like, I gotta forgive you and forget you to be able to move on. So I kind of like, I know we talked about like this is the topic, but it was like, here was my question. When, I know you said you're supposed to forgive. Cool. Because sometimes you got to forgive to move on. But when do you decide when to throw in the towel to forgive? Because to me, that's kind of where the red flags and forgiveness kind of tie together. Am I making sense?
Yeah, but see, that's really more of your choice because it's kind of like a grieving process.
Yep. Okay.
No one can tell you how to grieve. No one can tell you when to grieve. So that's with forgiveness as well. But my whole thing is I can't tell you when to let something go.
Right.
Even if I felt that you've been holding on to it too long. But as a friend, if I see that it's hurting you or hindering you because you have not let it go, I need to bring it to your attention
Facts.
Now I need to bring it to your attention to let you know that, you know, you let this, I understand how you feel, you know, and I would say I sympathize, because I can't necessarily say I understand how you feel, because I might not have experienced it. Then even with an experience, doesn't mean that the experience was the same.
Exactly.
So I do sympathize with what you're going through, but I do think that it is hurting you more than it is helping you.
Right.
So we need to find an alternative to this, something to take you out of this place, to elevate you, to show you that that is your past.
Right.
That's behind you. And until you let it go, you saw what you done learned from it, you done took your lessons from it, it's okay to let it go. And be able to identify those red flags to ensure that this does not happen again.
You ever had to forgive somebody without them knowing it to be able to move
Oh,
on?
yeah. Oh,
You ever had that?
Yes.
Well, like, you I mentally, I forgive you, and everything else, I might not be able to ever verbally tell you I forgive you. But in order for me to be able to move on, to get about my life, I forgive you.
Yeah.
I forgive you. I would probably never tell you to your face, or even in some form of communication.
Oh, yeah,
but I got
some
to
people
forgive
you can't
to be
even
able
give
to
them the
move on.
satisfaction of knowing that they did anything to you.
That.
So you have those, you know what I'm saying? It's some people that's way too much power to even acknowledge that you was hurt by what they did.
Right.
So you're gonna have those that get chills. I saw that. But yeah, so I mean, but like I said, every relationship is different. If you think about it, you just sat there for a moment. I know people are like, they're English. We all have degrees, by the way. We just want to let you know. So this is free for us to kind of talk how we want to talk.
Free form.
But we just want to let you know that we're all very educated, okay?
Time and forgiveness back. So, okay, so a significant other, that type of forgiveness is a little different. Time forgiveness to a friendship, that's where communication comes into play. The red flag of why you need to forgive them comes into play, and being able to forgive them and see if they're going to accept it or not.
Okay, first of all, you said that they were different. How?
What do you mean?
A relationship, as far as forgiveness, the forgiveness part is no different whether it's a husband or wife or best friends.
Oh, that's true. This is true. I ain't think about that way.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're gonna forgive somebody, it could be a total stranger who wronged you. You know what I'm saying? That you have to offer up forgiveness to.
Yeah.
I mean, I did. I mean, think about it. When the house was robbed, we had to let that go. I mean, burglarized because we weren't there, so it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? But that was stuff that we had to let go. You know what I'm saying? And granted, we had our way of coping with it because we laughed about the things that they did steal.
Yeah, we
you know what I'm
did.
saying? We was like, who steal pictures of Jesus off the wall? What? You stole my hairbrush with hair in it? Underwear? Dildos. Ladies and gentlemen. Dildos? Y'all stole dildos?
Oh.
I was done. I ain't nothing but a crackhead. And if you won, you on your way there.
Had to be something.
They tried to steal the turtle. They brought the turtle to the bottom of the, dumped all her food in her tank. And brought her from the loft upstairs all the way down the steps to the bottom in a blanket. Drank beer. Walk around, pour grease in the floor, took a shit in the stool.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, just, it was like, it was, and then you came back again. It wasn't like you just did it one time. Nah, this coup was good to you. You came back. You
couch outside.
Right.
Right.
I was like, seriously? This is what we do? This.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
it was
but
terrible.
Yeah. So there's different ways to cope. You know, at the end of the day, I had to forgive those people and then kind of tell myself that, you know, things were, it could have been lost any kind of way. It could have all went down on a fire.
Flames.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to tell my wife, you can't look at it, that's granted, yes, we know what happened. You know what I'm saying? We know how the stuff happened. But look at it and it could have all went up in flame.
Mm.
So let's count our losses.
Count your blessings.
Count your blessings. Most folks count their losses. They don't acknowledge the blessing. And that was a blessing because the whole thing could have went up in flames.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't necessarily had to have nothing left. But you did.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, definitely that. So just following things up. Anybody want to touch base off any other topics? Forgive people. Still do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. You would want somebody to forgive you.
Yes.
Yeah, people always think about that. People always tell me if somebody, a perfect example, first somebody ever killed my mother, I'd never be able to forgive them. I'll never be able to forgive them. I don't know what I'll do. And then you go out, end up being in a car accident and kill somebody's mother.
Mm.
Now what? But you want that person to forgive you because they can maybe able to talk to the judge and get you a softer sentence or something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Depending on how this play itself out. You just never know. So you should really watch what you say. Go back to watch what you say. Watch what you do. Watch how you treat people. Look out for the red flags. Learn how to talk to people. Learn how to forgive people. Ensure that you are forgiving yourself. Don't forget about yourself. Don't forget about yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank you for joining us on our first episode of Freedom of Speech. I would like to thank my guests, Trauma and Shelly. If you guys want to reach out to them, you can reach them on their Instagram, trauma_1964. That's TRAUMA_1964. That's your girl, Trauma. And we have Shelly. It's going to be M2 Artistics. That's M as in Mary, the number 2. ARTISTIC. You can find them on Instagram. And of course, I'm your girl, Pleasure Time. We will see you guys on the next episode. Holla.
Bye.
Ew.